When you look at Tua and his progression, obviously he's had one full year as the starting quarterback. What do you see as kind of his next progression, next step to take going into this year?
Well, I think Tua is the kind of guy that's never really satisfied, and I think he had an outstanding year last year. Are there things that he can improve on? I don't think there's any question about that. Toward the end of the season, we turned the ball over a little bit more offensively than what we had in the first half of the season, and I'm sure that he wants to make sure that the decision-making that led to some of those things are something that he can improve on. I think that, we'd like for him to learn. Tua is a great competitor, so he's going to try to make a play every play. And sometimes those things have worked out extremely well. And other times they've led to some disasters. So having a little better judgment about when to say when can be an asset from a health standpoint as well as eliminate negative play standpoint, even though sometimes he's done that and it's worked out great. But we're happy to have him as a leader of our team. He's got great character. He's a hard worker. He affects his teammates in a really positive way. I think he's very well respected by his teammates, and he's obviously been as productive as anybody at his position in the country. So hopefully we can build on that.
Go right here in front of the podium, first row.
Good morning, Coach Saban. Kerry Clark with Bama Central and Starkville Daily News. Kind of a two-part question. On special teams, who are the candidates to replace Josh Jacobs on kick return? And on defense, who, if anyone, is pushing Josh McMillan at inside linebacker?
Well, we have several candidates of guys that, are kickoff return guys that we think are very capable. Jalen Wall is a great return guy. Is he going to be the kickoff return guy? Maybe. Ruggs is really good at that. We've got several running backs who are pretty good at it. So I don't think that we've made a total decision on that yet. I think that's one of the questions that we have in fall camp is, to how that goes. We have a couple young linebackers. We'll see how they progress. The thing Josh does is he's been in the program for a long time. He understands what he has to do to be successful at the position. He is a thumper. He's very physical. And so, whether someone else develops from that core group of linebackers to play with the consistency that we need sort of remains to be seen. And maybe they can play in regular, maybe they can play in nickel, maybe Josh can play in regular, maybe Josh can play in nickel. So it may be a committee of people at that position who fills roles relative to situations.
Okay, we'll stay right in the center and one row behind.
Coach James Benedetto from the Crimson White. A lot of the talk this week with coaches has been about the transfer portal and how the coaches feel about it. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, and do you think it helps or hurts the players?
I'm sorry, I didn't really.
Transfer portal, and how do you think it helps or hurts?
Well, I think the spirit of the transfer portal in and of itself is a positive thing for players. I think when we started with the transfer portal, it was a mechanism for players to be able to say, I'm transferring, so everybody knows that I'm transferring. So if that creates opportunities for me to go different places, then that's a good thing for the player. The issue with the transfer portal is we've gotten very liberal in giving people waivers. So when we do that, it becomes free agency, which I don't think is good for college football. I don't think it's good for fans. So in my opinion, if we're going to have a transfer portal that's good for the players, then we ought to have a rule that says, regardless of what happens when you transfer, you have to sit out a year. That's how it's been for years and years and years. All right, and now we have, I don't know, at one point in time there were 65 waivers, all right, that were given this year. I mean, so everybody's expectation is I can transfer and get a waiver. And I don't think that's a good thing. So we make commitments to players for 4 years. They make commitments to us to be in our program. May not work out for everybody, and they may have a better opportunity someplace else, but if they had to sit out for a year, it would be a consequence for them in terms of their commitment.
Okay, we'll go right down front, AP.
AP Stedham, WHEP, AM and FM, Foley, Alabama. Coach, what are some of the traits of a David Cutcliffe coach team, offense, defense, special teams, and what's your relationship with Coach Cutcliffe?
Well, we have a tremendous amount of respect for David and what he's been able to do when he was at Ole Miss and we played all the time, and what he's done at Duke with that program and the success that they've had there. First of all, he's offensively, probably one of the best minds, in this era of our game. Quarterback development, he's very, very talented in terms of how he's been able to develop a lot of good players at that position. They're offensively, they do a lot of different things, getting empty, do a lot of things to feature the players that they have, and I'm sure they'll do the same thing with the players that they have this year, but I don't know of anybody in the country that's done a better job with the program than he has at Duke, not only in terms of taking the program from being fairly unsuccessful to very successful now, but also the way he goes about it, the honesty, integrity, doing things the way, it's supposed to be done when it comes to college football in terms of emphasizing personal development and academic support and player development. I just think he's one of the best around.
All right, we'll go over on the left side alongside the wall. Mike?
Coach Mike Bianchi, Orlando Sentinel. I know you would never reveal the secret to your success, but do you think you figured out something in program building that maybe a lot of other coaches haven't figured out?
No, I don't really know the secret to the success other than, we've worked hard and we've been in some really good situations through the years with really good people who are very supportive and given us the tools that we have that can create value for players so we can attract good players, and we've been able to develop those players with the knowledge and experience that we have on our staffs and with what we've been able to create through the years. So I can't really pinpoint anything. I know it comes from having really good people in your organization, whether it's your administration, your athletic director and the athletic department, the coaching staff that you have, the kind of players that you're able to attract, and the people who can support and influence the players in a positive direction. So I can't really, beyond that, it's a lot of hard work and trying to do things the right way. And I'm sort of a perfectionist by nature, and I know you can't be perfect, but we're always working to try to close the gap on perfect if we can, and get everybody in the organization to try to do the same.
We'll go stay down here on the left